So you like the sticker?
Yes, I love the sticker. On the mom car.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
What kind of sticker do you want for the other side?
Sheesh.
Sheesh?
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Bad.
It's like, sheesh, get off my ass.
You're too much. All right, you guys already saw the title of the video. Probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it is what it is. I just ran to AutoZone and I picked up this K-Seal multi-purpose one-step pour and go coolant leak repair. To give you guys a little backstory, last event I ended up blowing up a coolant hose connector piece and coolant sprayed everywhere, car overheated. And then the following days after that, I noticed that there was a ton of pressure building up inside these coolant hoses. And after doing a bit of research online, people were saying that that could mean that I have a blown head gasket. And sure enough, I did a combustion leak test to see if there was any combustion gases getting inside the coolant. And sure enough, there was a ton of combustion gases. What?
Are you making a video?
Yeah, you want to be on video?
No. Is it going to go on the internet?
It's going on YouTube. Well, now you guys have been able to meet both my parents. But anyways, there was a bunch of combustion gases inside the coolant, so obviously blown head gasket. Thankfully, I have another engine on hand. I'll go into more details about what that engine is later on in the video, but I want to be able to drive at the next drift event, and I don't really want to swap the engine before the event. So, to try and get a few more miles out of this, maybe try and get a couple more events out of this engine, we're going to try this out. Hopefully, it'll seal stuff up enough to where I won't blow anything up at the track. So with most of these head gasket sealers, you usually have to like drain all your coolant, flush the system, and then put the stuff in. But this stuff's pretty easy. You literally just pour it in, let the car idle for X amount of minutes, and then it should just stop up all the leaks. In most cases, I wouldn't really recommend using a head gasket sealer like this. They tend to cause more damage than good, but for this situation, this engine's gonna be going to the junkyard anyways once I'm done with it, so I'm just gonna run it till it dies and get as much fun out of it as I can. So I just gotta shake this up really good. Alright. There we go. Ooh, that's a funny color. And I guess you just pour in the entire thing. That is a weird color. Ooh. So apparently this is like some sort of ceramic sealer. You can see like some weird glittery bits in there. I don't know if that's the ceramic in it or what. I don't know. Alright, well now that we got that in, I'm gonna seal this up. And then I'm just gonna turn the car on and let this thing idle for like probably 5-ish minutes, something like that. All right, so the car started to overheat a little bit. I believe it's just because I got a little bit of air in the system when I went to go do the combustion leak test, because I took a bunch of coolant out, bit of a problem, but I'm gonna try and bleed the system real quick and hopefully that should rectify the situation. All right, so there's definitely a ton of air in the system. I think it took like an extra like 2 quarts of fluid, but I got it bled most of the way. I think it'll be good enough, not gonna overheat now. One thing I noticed though, these hoses are not getting as hard as they did before. So that's kind of a sign to me that this stuff might be working. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna head over to Gabe's, show you guys the new engine, kind of talk about it a little bit, and I'm gonna try and drive this thing over there. I hope it makes it. This will be a good test to see if this stuff actually works. Once I get over there, I'm gonna check the hoses, make sure they don't have a lot of pressure in them, and we'll know for sure if this stuff actually works. I'll see you guys over at the garage. All right, well, the car made it in one piece, didn't overheat at all. Romped down it a tiny bit just to make sure it wouldn't do anything funny, and it stayed together fine. No obvious problems, at least. I guess we just gotta check. Oof. Yeah, there's still a lot of pressure in there. I'm hoping that's just because the sealant needs to be in there a little bit longer to actually seal everything up fully. Regardless, I'm going to be trailering this car to the track next event, so really I don't care if something blows up at the track. I'll be fine, because that was my biggest worry with this. I really wasn't wanting to take this to the track specifically because I didn't want to possibly blow something up, because I've been driving to every event that I've gone to. But finally pulled the trigger, got a U-Haul rental all set up, so we'll be ready to go for Saturday. But now that we're here, I might as well show you guys the new engine I got. So I'm not going to be doing any like sort of crazy engine swap with this car. I think I'm going to keep it fairly simple. Not an LS, not another 4-cylinder. The new engine is an M52 B28. I picked up this engine a few weeks back from a dude named Andy down in Oregon. Apparently he bought this off of Chelsea Denofa. It came out of one of Chelsea's parts cars or something like that. But the cool thing about it, it only has 147,000 miles on it, which I am super hyped about. It came with most of the accessories. I still need a water pump, thermostat housing. Really, I just need like the entire cooling system for this engine, which honestly shouldn't be too much of a problem. But along with the engine, it came with full wiring harness plus fuel rail. The cluster that came with the car, battery cable. It came with an ECU, but I'm probably not going to be using that ECU because I'm going to be picking up another one from 22 RPD, I believe. It has EWS delete on it, emissions delete, all that jazz, which is super cool. I'm super hyped about that. I know a lot of people, when they swap in an M52, they usually like to do an OBD2 to OBD1 conversion, but I don't really feel like having to source all the parts to be able to do the conversion, so I'm going to try to keep this thing OBD2, which I know is going to be a pain. I know a bunch of people are going to be like, dude, just fucking do it. It'll make everything so much simpler, yada, yada, yada. No, I'm not going to do that. Going to keep it OBD2 because I'm stubborn, and yeah, I'm really just stubborn, to be honest. I already know one issue that I'm going to run into when doing this swap, since I'm going to be keeping it OBD2, is wiring. We'll use Gabe's 328 here as a bit of an example. In my car, I only have this X20 plug, but with the full wiring harness from that over in there, it kind of has all the plugs for all these, and I think it's X20, I think X69, and then like an X6031, something like that. I know I can get rid of the X69 plug because that deals with ABS and traction control and stuff like that. Don't need any of that, so I'm just toss that out, not worry about it. I know there's some stuff from the X6031 plug that I'm gonna have to figure out how to wire in. I know there's like a fuel tank pressure sensor in there, stuff like that. I'm really not too worried about having an OBD2 port in the car to be able to diagnose everything. Not really going to be concerned. I know I'm probably going to have a check engine light from some BS in the wiring. As long as I can get this thing in the car and running, I'll be happy. Like, that's literally all I ask for. A couple things I'm going to be doing before I get the engine actually in the car, though. I'm going to do oil pan gasket. I'm going to do rear main seal. Probably valve cover gasket. Debating on head gasket. I'm really debating. I'm not sure. I mean, it has 147,000 miles on it. I'm assuming it hasn't had a head gasket done on it yet, so I might do it as a bit of preventative maintenance. While I'm in there, I might end up doing ARP head studs just to kind of like future-proof this engine. Like, you know how like when people build PCs, they'll do like a really fatty old power supply even though they don't really need it, just so they have room to be able to upgrade, put more stuff in their computer later on. I might end up treating this engine kind of like that, kind of future-proof it. That way later on, if I ever decide to do a turbo setup, supercharger setup, it's all kind of there and it's ready to take it, you know? But overall, I am super happy with this. I am super excited to get in the car. Probably gonna be a bit of a slow process. I like to take things slow, make sure that I'm doing everything exactly right. Like, I haven't really even bought any parts for this engine just because I want to make sure that I'm getting every part I need and have everything in line and I know what I'm doing. Like, I've been having major anxiety thinking about the wiring on this car. I've been going through schematic after schematic trying to figure out exactly what I need to do to be able to keep the OBD2 on this engine and put it in an OBD1 car. Literally nowhere on forums has any information on this. I feel like I'm one of the only people that wants to keep OBD2 on the engine and put it in an OBD1 chassis. It's gonna be a bit of an undertaking. First major engine swap I'm ever gonna do, but I think it's gonna be fun. I'll be tracking all the progress along the way, so if you guys want to see that, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the progress on this engine. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Gonna be a while, but it'll all be worth it in the end. I really need more power in this 318 because the 4-banger just isn't really cutting it anymore. So we just took the car on another drive real quick. Unfortunately, these coolant lines are still hitting really high pressures. So as of right now, the head gasket sealer isn't really doing much, it seems like. Granted, it's only been in the car for like an hour. It hasn't really had a chance to do its job, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see at the track if it holds up. And if I end up blowing some coolant lines, I think it's pretty obvious that it didn't really do anything. I know I've probably been all over the place with this video. It just, I don't know, something gets going in me when I start talking about the swap in this car. A little bit of anxiety, a little bit of excitement, all of the above, I don't know. But this car is going to be something else once I get this M52 in here. Because I think I should pick up somewhere around the area of like 60 horsepower, 60 torque. which is like a 50% increase on the power that I have right now in this car. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, if you want to stay along with the progress on this E36, go down, hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, whatever you want to do, no pressure. But I hope y'all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one.